Hi, this is Melanie from Screen Time with Mel, and today we're going to talk about Big Sky, Season 3, Episode 4. So let's get into it. Hey everybody, thanks so much for joining me here today. If you are returning, well, I appreciate you coming back, and hopefully you like this video as much as you liked the last one. And if you're new here, well, thank you for joining us. Don't hesitate to join in the conversation down below. And while you're down there, if you enjoyed this video, then hit that like button. And don't forget, hit the subscribe button as well if you like all things TV and a little bit of movies. And hit the bell so that you're reminded each time I come out with a brand new video. Alright, let's go ahead and get on with talking about the show. Alright, so this time was a little bit different. We didn't pick up right where we left off. Instead, we start with the crime of the week. And you are at somebody's house, and she is obviously cleaning up after dinner, and she breaks a bottle while she's doing that and cleans it up. And then while she's cleaning that up, you see this figure go by, and you see this creepy man in a wolf mask that's kind of standing, just appears behind her and then disappears, and appears behind her and disappears. Now she goes outside to throw away the broken glass, and she sees that the back gate is open, so that's a little creepy. And then she shuts it, turns around, and starts to walk back towards her backyard, because that's on the side of her house, to her backyard. And all of a sudden, poof, you see the guy in the creepy mask again, although it doesn't look like a wolf's mask this time, but it's a creepy mask. Anyway, she turns around, sees him, and fade to black. Then it cuts to Beau and Jenny on their way to the crime scene, where they start the investigation. Not much to say there. Beau tries to talk a little bit with Jenny about what happened with her mother. She doesn't want to talk about it, and she's obviously emotional about it. But they get to the crime scene and then start that investigation. Of course, in the course of that investigation, they talk to the daughter and the husband. They ask around for if anybody has any cameras, because, you know, everybody's got cameras these days. So they ask around see if anybody has any cameras, and they find an image of somebody in the mask with a bloody arm. And then they go to a store asking about the mask, and that person says, yeah, I sold that to, I believe he said he sold it to the woman who was killed, because they were going to use it for Halloween. So automatically they go back to the husband, and they go into the house and find out that the house, that the husband has been attacked as well. And the daughter is missing now. Oh, during that time they also reach out to the daughter, and the daughter says, well, she caught her mom with another man. And so they investigate that as well. So that happened before they start investigating, asking people questions, get back to the dad. The dad was stabbed. So he wasn't killed though. He's still alive, and he's able to tell them, hey, it's Scott. He's been wanting their daughter for a while now, and you need to find her. So and I'm jumping straight through the storyline because it jumps in and out of the storyline, and then I'll follow the other storyline here in a minute. So there's two other storylines. So in this storyline, they go to the house where this guy is, and then they go and do a search in the house, and they find this room that is creepy. It's all set up to be the room for this girl, and he's been playing this for years. And of course she is in this room, but they don't see this guy anywhere. And of course the lights go out, and he creeps out from under the bed, and he attacks them. During the course of the attack, Beau is stabbed, and they thought he was down for the count. Of course he pops back up, and Beau turns Jenny around, and she shoots him dead. And they were able to rejoin the daughter with the father, and somewhat happy day, although the mother, the mother parental unit is dead, so not quite so happy, but better than it could have been. So that wraps up that storyline. That's the crime of the week. It's pretty interesting, and I love the creepiness factor to that. at the beginning with the guy in the mask popping up. It felt like Scream. That's what it felt like. The very first Scream in that Drew Barrymore scene where the guy kept popping up. So that's what it felt like. It was nice and creepy, but without it being too jump scare. Now we go back. During this time, there's the timeline of the camp and the missing campers. Well, it's only one camper, which, by the way, her name is Paige, and the annoyed guy, his name is Luke. So Paige and Luke. Luke's still insisting I did nothing to Paige. I would never hurt Paige, and I still can't remember her name, but Beau's daughter, Avery is her stepfather, but Beau's daughter is still thinking, okay, there's something wrong with this. There's something going on here, and she sets out to try and get some proof of her own, figure out what's going on. Meanwhile, Sunny's husband finds out somehow about her creepy son, which his name is Walter, and says, you know what, I turned the other cheek before, but I'm not going to do it again. He needs to be out of these woods. So, because he has been creeping around too much in the woods and he's not having it. He thinks that he has something to do with the missing girl. So Mom, Sunny, goes to Walter and says, hey, we're going to have to move you. Get your bags packed, ready to go. They come back that night to get him ready to go, and he refuses to leave. And he and Sunny's husband get into it. And Sunny's like, you don't touch my son again, blah, blah, blah. And then she says, I love you to Walter, and then leaves and doesn't make him move. Well, at the end of that, and this is actually the last scene of the show, so I'm jumping ahead here. Last scene of the show, you see Paige's eyes looking through a knot in the wood, and he opens the door. Walter opens the door and says, okay, they've left. Now, here, you don't know if Paige is there voluntarily. You would think that she is, because she could have cried out while Mom and Dad were there, Sunny and her husband were there, but she didn't. So I'm feeling like she was there voluntarily, but I'm sure we'll find out more about that in coming episodes. So that wraps up that particular storyline. Cassie is still trying to figure out where her missing hiker is, and she happens to run into the camper, the camp helper, who's actually the son of Sunny and her current husband. So he's Sunny's next son. Anyway, him and Cassie been eyeing each other all so far in every episode, and they happen to run into each other at the supply store, and he finds out that Cassie is going to be doing a hike up to Dead Man's Drop to see if she can find the missing hiker. With that in mind, he's like, okay, I'm going to go with you. So they go to take our ATVs up to one area, and then they hike down to a particular area, and she finds a couple of droplets of blood. Could have been from anything, but she finds a couple of droplets of blood, and she says, you know what, I want to go up that way. He says, it's going to be a bit of a hike, and she's like, okay, you got a curfew? So they end up going up there, and ultimately they do find the hiker, who's been obviously moved a couple times based on the past couple of episodes. But there he is, dead, and they drop it there. Well, that's where that particular storyline ends. I think that that's going to continue on, because there's the suspicion of the email that went out. It's when obviously he's been dead for a while, and I'm sure that their coroner, if they have a coroner in that town, their coroner will confirm that he's been dead for a while, since before that email went out. So that's still going to cast some suspicions there. And the final storyline is between Tanya and her, Beau, or bodyguard, whatever he is to her. They want to know, Gigi is Jenny's mom, so want to know what things are going to be done about Gigi. They're working in the diner, and they get a guy comes into the diner and says, hey, got a job for you, I need you to find somebody. And it ends up being Paige and Luke. So they've crossed somebody bad. Now, the guy that Tanya's with thinks that it's really ultimately going to end up being that they're going to have to kill them. But they went ahead and decided, let's figure out what's going on. And Tanya, and at the end of that storyline, Tanya says, well, I want to go camping too, because that's where they went. They find out that that's where they went. So it's how all those things tied up. There's the 4 different storylines. I'm interested to see how it plays out with the missing camper. Not the missing hiker that they found, because there's still a lot of suspicious things going on. I think they're going to start to uncover some stuff there. So I can't wait to see how that plays out. And then, of course, how Jenny's mom, Gigi, fits in with Tanya. That'll be interesting to see how that plays out. And the whole thing with the camp, who's the bad guy? Is it Creepy Mama? Is it Walter, creepy guy? And is Paige there voluntarily? I think she is. I think that she has asked Walter to help her hide out. So I think that he is not keeping her there against her will. Let me know what you think down below. Yeah, what did you guys think of this episode? I thought it was pretty good. I've been enjoying it. I've been enjoying the build-up of the different storylines that are overarching for the season. And I do like the, solve a case a week type of feel for the little bit that they've got there. But I am enjoying more so than the solve a case a week, although that was pretty good this week with the creep factor. I more enjoy the overarching storylines, and I can't wait to see how that continues to play out. I think that will be very, very interesting. What are you guys? Do you guys have any predictions? Any suspicions? Any questions? Let me know what you think down below. I'd love to hear from you. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to also hit that thumbs up. It really helps me in the algorithm. It gets this video out to more people that they think would like to, that YouTube thinks would like to see it. And while you're down there, if you haven't done so yet and you like all things TV, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the bell so that you're reminded each time I come out with a brand new video. Thank you guys so much for joining me here today. I appreciate each and every one of you, and you guys have an amazing day. Bye-bye.